Hello and welcome to Warblog. I am about to play this game. This should be updated already, but Operation Hawthorne. Now, I already started this, and so I've already done this video, but there was something wrong, so I had to do it again. Now, but when you've done it again, you remember what you haven't said. So, just to cut a long story short, the air insertion wasn't working. I sort of predicted that to some extent, following recent changes, but I suspected it, but didn't imagine that it wasn't working. It wasn't, so I just had to fix it after doing one long video. So essentially, this is taking forever to load up. Problems with web-based game, but essentially, hurry up, run. Okay, this is only the start. I'm using this document a lot. I'll swap it over. See this bit here. There's the sort of map that I based it on, and this is phase 1. There's 3 phases on this, and I had a good joke about there's phase 2, which is 7 to 10. Now it's going to be quite hard to replicate this from phase 1 because you might not hold Tormon outposts. You might not be able to do these sorts of assaults. You might be definitely all the way down here. So the sort of question I had was, really, should I try to incorporate all 3 phases? And a bit of a joke, which was really funny at the time, but when we were doing it a second time, it's not so funny. This is phase 3. You can hardly see the 3. It's kind of more like a 2, and I had a little laugh. I also had a little laugh at all the little secret things singled out. This is declassified. But it's quite interesting, just looking at it. 8th of September 1966. Secret. Security information. This document is classified secret in accordance with AFR 2051. This document contains information affecting the security of the United States within the meaning of the espionage laws, Title 18, US Code 793 and 794, transmission or revelation of its contents in any manner to an authorized person is prohibited by law. Well, obviously it's on the internet and I've got a link to it. There's also another little one that I sort of found and lost. There's another little one of these, but so essentially the game sort of goes in 3 phases, and I'm not sure that I can reflect all 3 phases in one game. The big challenge I had here was putting the map together, because if you look at the Wikipedia thing, there's no real sort of geographic orientation. If you look for location Tomorong, it just doesn't exist on Google Maps. You really have to sort of actually go to Tom province, and that was another thing that I pointed out in the earlier video. And if you actually sort of look through here, it doesn't spell Tom province like that. You know, a lot of these Google references, they're just wrong. You know, Wikipedia is wrong. You know, a lot of people refer to these things differently. I can't find it now, but don't worry too much about that. But what I'm trying to get to here is finding this location. See, look, it spells it Kontum. Now that's Kontum, but there's no space in between it, and there's lots of discrepancies. And basically, I couldn't find where this was. Eventually, I found it from that other document, that top secret document I just showed you. And so I've created the map, and so I might do this 3 times. If I do, it'll be a sort of a bit of a cheat, because then I'll have 3 games, and it's really the same thing, just different phases. But to some extent, if you want a historical reflection of phase 2 and phase 3, I have to do that. But what I'm going to try and do is to sort of give you the reinforcements phased in to match the phases, or you know. But basically, what happened was They've got some units here. It doesn't specify what, but this is in Tormorong Outpost, and they'd sort of identified some North Korean units, not North Vietnamese units, sort of north. They'd had word that there was a major offensive planned by the North Vietnamese. They're going to take Tormorong Outpost and then Dak Far and then Dak 2 and then down to Khartoum. Had a good laugh at that because I thought Khartoum was in Egypt, but doesn't really say. Can't find it immediately. What's this? Something else. So anyway, they had some word, and so basically what they did, they got this unit, which is the 42nd Infantry Regiment, ARVN, to go and reinforce the outpost. Now, make note, they're going to move quite slowly, at least sort of 5 or 6 turns to get there. They do have some CIDG units and some scouts. Now, they're on the map there as infantry, but I've given them the Recce designation. That's not cavalry, it's Recce, so they get 6. So they should be able to get there a little sooner. They do have a significant defence in relation to some of this. I've also been putting in some fords. Normally this river would have been pretty much uncrossable apart from here, but you know, it does relieve. I think there's enough fords here to relieve the pressure on this bridge being really important, and you can get across it. It's going to take a while to get there, but the key thing is, and this is where it all went pear-shaped before, you get so they sent these units up by road to reinforce here, but they also sent some units to, and these are not official designations, I've done these, landing zone 1, 2 and 3. So basically the first of the 327 land here, landing zone 2. Let's just see where it's working. So I do my air insertion, there's no challenge, so I commit my air insertion, and there's the results. So obviously it's not particularly clear because there's no damage, so it doesn't sort of say, oh, you died or something. So I'm back to the game, and there's my unit inserted. Maybe if there's nothing in any of these surrounding hexes, I should just do it, but that's not how it works at the moment. So essentially this unit, which is the 21st Ranger, they land at landing zone 1. So let's commit that air insertion and then go back to the game. Just a fair few steps there. And these units, which are sort of not always designated on the other things, land here. With some artillery. Now they were quite good in the Vietnam period of, you know, about doing air insertion of artillery units as well. Oh, yeah, thank you very much. I know what's wrong here. It's because there's already a unit in there. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a bit more fiddling around. So, but the reason they put these air insertions, it was a fairly sort of key strategic feature of how they operated in the Vietnam War, is that they would put units behind the enemy lines to stop retreats and, you know, basically to, well, basically not just to stop the retreats, but also to hit them in the rear, to cut their supply and their supply in this game. But it was sort of fairly standard to sort of insert units behind enemy lines. What's not in this game at the moment is the large amount of air power. I mean, in the article, I think the first phase only has 34 sorties, which is not a lot because the whole campaign had about 250, and it was saying there was so much intense air power that some flights were going out to you know, bombard targets, and they had to turn back because there were too many planes in front of them. You know, there was just too, it was just too crowded, which I found quite interesting. So essentially the air power is not in here at the moment. One of the reasons I'm just doing this and explaining the first video is just really sort of recap with how much I've sort of figured out this Hawthorne scenario, because this is basically the first phase, and whether I incorporate the second or third phase into this, or whether I do separate games, I'll maybe think about if I can be bothered. But so essentially, they land these units here, and also these ones down here, to essentially surround these units, and they don't know where they are. So you've got to imagine that so didn't know that they were like that. They could have been like that. They could have been like that, or whatever. But it does actually change a little, because now it's not just a case of going down to Tomarong outpost and overriding, overrunning it. I mean, they could have possibly got. I put them a bit further back, but they could have possibly got 1, 2. In 3 turns, they could have probably got 6 units against it. But that is still, a defense of 6. It would only been a 1-to-1, so it wasn't an overrun anyway. But now that they've got to contend with other units, it's an interesting scenario. It's exactly what happens. It could be fairly simple, but the thing with the whole Vietnam period, I think in general, in regards to these games, is it's quite difficult to actually replicate what was happening, because the Americans didn't know where they were. I mean, it's easy to sort of move things around, knowing where these North Vietnamese units are, but they just didn't know. And so you've got to sort of sometimes play that way, in mind, to sort of, if you want to reflect it in that way. And sometimes I do sort of think, it could be advisable to sort of write your orders in advance for both sides, and then to follow them operationally. I mean, I know a lot of games have that in the game mechanics, but I'm not about to do that. But it's just looking at how you want to play it. But essentially, that's the introductory phase. That's the introduction to sort of phase 1. Obviously, I'll have to sort this out so I can land on top of my own units. This got the air insertions working now. So, I mean, just for the hell of it, there's a few minutes left. I didn't move any of these units. Get back and attend is that turn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we'll pretend that was the last turn. So now we're going back onto the North Vietnamese, and I think they do want to at least harangue this outpost. And maybe these units are too tough, just to give them a bit of a bit more, not so much a chance. But now I think I'm going to cross over that. Someone at the door. Strange. Okay, so he should now have 0 movement. Yes, it does. So ordinarily that would have been 2. So it's jungle, but it's got 0. He shouldn't be able to cross the river. Look at that, and he can't. Isn't that amazing? He can't cross the river. But he can go there. Look at that, look how it works. He's got 1 movement, can he? No, he can't. Look at that, it works. I surprise myself sometimes. I do apologise for anyone who does play these games and then thinks, hang on, it's not working, because they sort of think they might sign up and then think that it's just not working or something. Some things don't work. Find something that doesn't work, then write it in the comments or something. The intention to sort of get it very simple mechanics, but actually simple mechanics that work all the time. Anyway, so the next turn, now these units are pretty stuffed. I mean, they can only really move 1 at a time. These are on a little road, so yeah, I think that works. So they probably will get attacked. I've only got 15 minutes left. I'm not going to play any more of this. I just wanted to really give an overview of this new map. Just twirling around. So hope you enjoy it. Hopefully when you get to play it, it'll be fully working. Cheers.